Can anyone tell me what is enzyme?
They're catalyst.
Very good, catalyst.
They're molecules that act at a region to sometimes speed up a reaction, sometimes just start a reaction, sometimes they can even stop a reaction. Like they change the reaction usually.
Okay, okay. So actually change the rate of reaction. So this is catalyst, biocatalyst, okay, that changes the rate of reaction. Actually, if we say changes, that means it does not like it never slows down, it always increases the rate of reaction. You have to understand, increases the rate of reaction. And that's it what it does. It is not part of reaction. Any catalyst, you must have studied in chemistry, it is not part of like a reactant or product. It is not part of reactant product. It actually increases the rate of reaction between reactants yielding product. So this is enzyme, you all know. So I want you to jump directly here. So I want you to know about this picture. So last class yesterday, I told you to remember this picture. So this is a little bit of funny type of cartoon. So and this will help you a lot understanding enzyme. Okay. So if you understand this in this structure, this will give you like a picture to retain in your brain, and then that way you will understand the subject enzyme better way. So you can see this is a very, this cartoon seems to be to have similar to shark. Okay, it has a mouth here, you can see it has mouth here, and then I have made eye only just like that, so it does not have any significance. But the more important one is, you can see here these two areas on the body. So it has got mouth on this area on the body, there is some sites on the enzymes. These sites are called allosteric site. Allo means different. You know, allo is, what is the meaning of allo? Different. Steric means the space, means the special configuration is called steric. So you can see the different site where something binds. This is one site where something binds, the mouth, and this is the second site where something bound. So this site is called active site. Okay, this site is called active site, or it is also called as substrate site. You know, this is active site or substrate site, and this is allosteric site. Will you memorize these two sites of the enzyme? Will you be able to memorize this site, active site? And then allosteric. Yes, just remember, this is an enzyme, cartoon of enzyme. So all enzyme are not the same way similar, but like they are different, but they all will have active site and allosteric site. That is what you have to, the most important thing about enzyme is to you understand all enzyme has active site and then this allosteric. And this is the body of enzyme, this is the mouth of enzyme, you know. And the all enzyme are made by protein. So protein actually fold into this form, providing an active site and then allosteric site. So you know, this active site, if you see inside the active site, there I have shown the teeth. So teeth is a figurative designation of something I will tell you. So this teeth, you can see teeth, and these teeth are very, very important for enzyme. Through this teeth only enzyme chew the substrate. Substrate means reactant. Through this site only enzyme chew the reactant, means actually convert reactant into product. So in order for enzyme to convert this substrate into product, so enzyme need to have this teeth. So what is this teeth composed of? Teeth teeth is composed of side chain of amino acids. What is the side chain? I will tell you. So you can see this is the side chain. I told you amino acid last class yesterday. So amino acid has amino group here and acid group. So this is amino acid. This amino group and acid group both attached to a central carbon. And then it has got R group. R group is side chain. Okay, the side chain vary according to amino acid, and that is why you can see in cartoon structure I have made this side chain as face. So from this side chain you recognize different amino acid. Amino acid differ in their side chain. So side chain from the teeth here. Not all side chains, some important side chain of amino acid they will form teeth here. Okay, so how does this side chain form teeth? So you can see I'm showing you the chain of protein here. So protein chain, in protein chain, this acid and amino group, they are in bond. So this is like this. So this is like this. This is face, you can see R group, and NH will be bond with, sorry, here CO will be bond with NH group, and then again CO will be bond with NH group of another amino acid. The same way CO will be again with N. So this N and CO, they are in the bond. So next amino acid come here, they will form bond like this. So this is the protein. You can see, I will show you here. You can see this is one amino acid. It has got this carbon, central carbon, amino and acid. This acid group is in bond with next amino group. Okay, this amino acid, you can see this is amino acid again. Now this is third amino acid. This amino acid group is forming bond with amine group. So that is why this acid and amine group in protein, they are engaged in bond formation, but this side chain are free. This is side chain. You can see side chains are different in different amino acids. You can see here side chain is this aromatic type of thing. So hydroxyphenyl group. Here you can see side chain is hydrogen, simple hydrogen. Here you can see side chain again, here hydrogen. Here side chain is phenyl group. Here side chain, you will see different side chain. So this side chain actually is responsible for different identity of amino acid. The amino acids are different because of this side chain. So this side chain, all side chains are free, and that is why if something is free, they are actually free to do their work. And therefore you can see the hydroxyl group, this is electronegative group. So electronegative group will have a delta negative charge, because you can see oxygen is electronegative element, it will pull electron towards itself, and that will make this electronegative partially negative charge. So when some molecule has partially negative charge, so they can attract, or they can actually attack on a substrate. Any portion on the substrate, for example, let's say glucose. If there is any portion on glucose that has positive charge, it will attack on that positive center. So that is how reaction happens. So this side chain is performing like a teeth. Did you understand side chain? Yes?
Yes, sir.
So I need your presence. Don't keep quiet, okay? Try to be interactive. If you're not interactive, it will be difficult for you to go forward. So this is teeth, this is teeth, and teeth is side chain. Now, and second type of molecules that can form this teeth, and this will form a special type of teeth. Special. Not all enzyme will have. Let me erase this all. not all enzyme has this teeth. This is a specific type of teeth. Only certain enzymes will have teeth, a specific type of teeth. So there are two types of molecules, two types of compound that is responsible for formation of teeth. One is side chain, second is coenzyme. So coenzyme is also part of teeth. So this coenzyme, actually coenzymes are nothing but vitamins and minerals. They form the coenzyme. They will form the coenzyme. So understand this teeth. Today we will talk specifically about this teeth, because this teeth is very, very important. Okay, this teeth is very, very important. So today we will talk specifically about this teeth. It is anyway. So did you understand this teeth part?
Yes.
Yes.
So just memorize this, put this image into your imagination. Why I'm going slow, very lazy, so that you will, like, at least you will capture, you will feel this is very easy. If you capture this image, this may seem simple, you will understand everything. Now this is active site. Active site has teeth. Teeth is made up of side chain and then coenzymes, vitamins and minerals. These are the vitamins and minerals you can see. So this teeth is one, I have shown one part of this is side chain and second part is this vitamins, coenzymes. Coenzymes are vitamins. You can see vitamins in the table. So their function of this vitamin, you can see the vitamins, this convert into, the vitamin will modify in another form. Little bit, the vitamin will modify little bit and then it will form the part of that teeth. Okay, these are the vitamin and modified form of this vitamin called coenzyme that will form the part of teeth. These vitamins and minerals. Now you can see this vitamins. So I am focusing on vitamins. So minerals I don't need to tell because minerals came in its own form, but vitamin little bit modify and form coenzymes. You can see vitamins here. Also I have classified vitamins. What is the function of these vitamins? Some vitamin, some coenzyme, vitamin derived coenzyme, they actually transfer electron. They accept and donate electron. They deal with electron. And some coenzymes, they deal with some other group other than electron, that is hydrogen. They deal with other groups. So for example, methyl group, single carbon group. Some will act with CO2. So this we can divide this way. And third slide, we have 3 slides on this coenzyme. And specific, you can see the specific function of each of these coenzymes. So for example, you can see here, biotin. Biotin actually transfer carbon dioxide. Okay, biotin transfer carbon dioxide. This tetrahydrofolate carbon 1 carbon. So these are the coenzymes I want you to understand. I will go through slide by slide. Just I'm showing you, I'm focusing you this. So I'm connecting everything to this image. Now I will tell you this. So this enzyme has many properties. What are those properties? You can see, you can remember that property through this S3 and R3. And see, this is the slide I will be doing in upcoming classes. I will be actually elaborating this 6 point. I will do nothing else. I will just elaborate the 6 points. If you memorize this 6 point, that is the summary of enzyme topic. So what is this properties? So you can see S3, speed, selectivity, specificity. Just you can remember speed, selectivity, specificity. And then what is R3? Reaction condition. And then active site I have taken is reaction site because substrate bind here. This is active site. Substrate bind here and the reaction happens at this site. That is why I have written reaction site to make it more convenient, to make mnemonics, to have mnemonics. I have made like this: reaction condition, reaction site, and regulation. I told you this site. This site is actually will be responsible for regulation. I will talk about that. What happens? The product of reaction will bind here and actually slow down the activity of this enzyme. Okay. In other words, you can call it the enzyme will be tied. So that substrate product will tie the enzyme. Product will tie the enzyme by binding here at allosteric site. So this is site you have to understand. That is the significance of allosteric site. Allosteric site, significance of allosteric site is your like regulation. Significance of allosteric site is regulation. So, and see, consider this enzyme like your molecule, living entity. This is a living entity because you can see that I told you in the beginning, you imagine yourself as a like complex organized molecules. You imagine yourself as complex organized molecules. So your body parts are made by tiny molecules at the molecular level. So this is your body part. Your enzymes are your body part. And this enzyme, if enzyme is affected, you will see your body is affected. So you can imagine your enzyme as your tiny body part. So you know, when temperature changes in environment, you have a problem. You need a moderate temperature. Then only you will have like good feeling. Otherwise, you will have problem. You can not work properly. And the same way, you need to have a definitive like appropriate temperature and appropriate pH. The enzyme also require appropriate temperature and appropriate pH. The range of temperature, moderate range of temperature and moderate range of pH. So this is reaction condition. Reaction condition, your activity, condition of activity. You see, temperature goes very high, you will not be able to study. The same way, enzyme will not be able to work. So this is called reaction condition. So these are the properties of enzyme. So just remember, S3, speed is one, selectivity, specificity. So what is speed? You can see the enzyme has kept a very unique catalyst. It can increase speed of a reaction from million to trillion, you know, trillion, more than trillion. Trillion is 12, 10 to the 12. So it is 10 to the 14. So the reaction rate increased by an enzyme can range from million to trillion. Just understand how fast this enzyme is. Okay. Sorry. And then selectivity. So selectivity means a property like choosy. Enzyme is very choosy. Enzyme is very choosy. So if there's many things in the like environment, like glucose is there, fructose is there, like other molecule, X molecule, Y molecule, if this enzyme has the space, you know, active site matches this X, then it will bind only X. So it is very choosy. And what is specificity? Specificity means this particular enzyme is very much specialized. This is a specialist. This is a specialist. And this specialist does only a particular type of job. Only a particular type of job. So specificity means this refers enzyme as a specialist. Of some particular work. What does that mean? So some enzymes, you know, some people are doctors. Some people are engineers. Some people are plumbers. Some people are politicians. So what does this doctor do? Doctor has a specific work. So this is a specificity of doctor. Engineer has some other specific work. This is specificity of doctor, engineer. And then plumber has his own work, specific work. and politician has his own specific work. That is what specificity is. A particular enzyme is a very much choosy. It chooses a particular substrate and then does a particular treatment to that, does a particular reaction, perform a particular reaction. So you can study this. Speed, you understood. High selectivity for a particular substrate, and high specificity for a reaction. So a specificity refers to the reaction that the enzyme performs. A specificity refers to the reaction, type of reaction enzyme performs. Active sub, you already knew. Regulation, I told you, when it binds to allostatic site product, then regulation happens. Now, did you all understand? Did you understand these 6 properties of enzyme?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, can anybody tell me what are the 6 properties of enzyme?
Speed.
Yes.
Selectivity, specificity, reaction conditions, reaction site, and enzyme regulation.
Speed. Don't forget speed. Speed, selectivity, specificity, reaction condition, reaction site, and reaction condition. Reaction condition, reaction site, and regulation. Yes. So good. So you understood. You memorized this. This is the very important. And you all know all enzymes are their catalysts. I want you to study yourself. Yes. So they are biocatalysts. They are generally made of proteins. There are some exception to that this rule. Some enzymes are ribozymes. You study about ribozyme in genetics. Okay. Genetics. There are some enzymes that will the enzymes that are involved in translation. The enzymes that is involved in translation. Translation means protein synthesis. Enzymes that are involved in protein synthesis. Enzymes that are involved in splicing. Just you can write these 2 terminology. And these enzymes are RNA catalyzed enzymes. Otherwise, almost all enzymes are made by protein. Okay. The enzyme will bind with the reactant. For example, this is reactant. This is B is product enzyme. So this reactant is also called substrate. And product is called product. Okay. There is no second name for product. Reactant is substrate, but this is product. So you understood the properties of this enzyme, you know, and you understood, you have kept this picture into your imagination. Now I can move a little bit faster, no problem. So you have already, I told you what is coenzyme. So what is coenzyme? Coenzyme is basically teeth. Coenzyme is basically teeth. Some enzymes only have the coenzyme. Not all enzymes will have coenzyme. And these coenzymes, we can classify coenzymes. So coenzymes are, let's define, coenzymes are non-protein substance. Okay. Side chain was part of this whole protein. This coenzyme is different organic or inorganic compound, and that is not part of enzyme, and this will get. So generally, coenzymes are non-protein substances. It can be organic or inorganic. When it is organic, it is specifically, so sometimes we use coenzyme as general term also, general terminology. And sometimes we use as a specific terminology. Okay. When we specifically call coenzyme, then it will be an organic compound. Okay. But in general term, you can call coenzyme both vitamins and minerals, like minerals and vitamins, both will be coenzymes. Now, inorganic coenzymes can be organic and inorganic. Organic, if it is organic, you specifically call coenzymes. If it is inorganic, it is minerals, you call it cofactor. So minerals will be cofactor. Okay. And this organic will be coenzymes. So 2 terminology, you understood 2 terminology. So I have already told you this is chemical. You can see here. Some enzymes among that coenzymes, few coenzymes are very tightly bound, very tightly bound. You can see when this is loosely bound, it is called coenzymes. Simply, when the organic or inorganic, it can be organic, inorganic. When it is tightly bound to enzyme, it is called prosthetic. Prosthetic means tightly bound. It can be anything organic or inorganic. And cofactor is always inorganic. This is coenzyme, cofactor, and prosthetic group. Did you understand this difference between these three? This is just terminology. Okay? You have to understand this terminology. They are basically teeth of the enzyme. One enzyme will not have all these three. We will either have coenzyme as teeth, supplementary teeth, or it can have prosthetic group, or it can have cofactor as teeth. So prosthetic group is something which is very tightly bound. Prosthetic is very tightly bound. Coenzyme and cofactor, they are loosely bound. This is organic, this is inorganic. Did you get that? Please try to answer, okay?
Yes, sir.
I want everybody to be interactive. See, few people only answers. So you understood this hollow. This is hollow enzyme is this is coenzyme prosthetic group. You understood? Hollow enzyme, when hollow enzyme are the enzyme when it is in active form. When does it become active form? When it combines with coenzyme. So coenzyme plus apoenzyme. Apoenzyme is protein portion of enzyme, and the cofactor or coenzyme part, when it binds to this protein part, it becomes hollow enzyme. So understand this hollow enzyme concept. So what are the coenzymes? I have already told you. Coenzymes are vitamins. You can see vitamin B1. B1 is called thiamine. Thiamine will form TPP, thiamine pyrophosphate. B2 is riboflavin. It will form FMN, flavin mononucleotide. Flavin. So adenosine dinucleotide. You can see, and niacin, vitamin B3. Nicotinamide, adenine dinucleotide. Nicotinamide, adenine dinucleotide phosphate. So pantothenic acid. This is coenzyme A. It will form coenzyme A. Pyridoxine, it will form pyridoxal phosphate. In short, we call it PLP. Folate, it will form tetrahydrofolate, THF. Vitamin B12, it will form either adenosyl or methyl cobalamin. So understand this coenzyme. The coenzyme derived from which vitamins? You have to memorize this. Now
Dr. Santosh?
Yes.
Can I ask a question? Do we need to know the like, for example, NAD plus? Do we need to know the opening, like, the long form of these abbreviations?
Yes. These are very basic things. Yes, you need to know. Because if you don't know these are very basic things. You must know this full form. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. If you know the full form, you will have more concept. Otherwise, you will be confused every time. Okay. So there is meaning. Dinucleotide means 2 nucleotides are there. So you need to know the full form also. So there are some certain coenzymes that only deals with transfer of electron, means hydrogen carrying electron. So these are fixed amount. You can see, you can memorize easily. NAD, NADP. FMN, vitamin B3 related, vitamin B2 related, and then coenzyme Q, vitamin B5 related. These are vitamin B2, B3, and B5. These are, and then lipoic acid. These all vitamins are involved in transfer of hydrogen. And other than this coenzymes, they are involved in other group transfer. You can see this is coenzyme A is involved in different type of group transfer. I will tell you some example I have in next slide. Thymine pyrophosphate is also involved in transfer of other group of enzyme. So you can see when something is involved in transfer of electron or hydrogen, we call them oxidoreductase. Okay, we call them oxidoreductase. When we will talk about the classification, then we will see this. There is a group of enzymes which perform this reaction called oxidoreductase. So you can see these all coenzymes actually are involved in doing this type of reaction, transferring electron. These are involved in different type of transferring different type of group. Let's see the examples of different groups. So you can see biotin. Just focus on this biotin for the time being. Biotin, very important. Okay, folate is also each and every point is very important. Okay, so this folate is very important. So we will focus on these two for the time being, biotin and folate. Let's see this. And biotin and folate. So you can see biotin here, it transfer carbon dioxide. Now see folate, it is involved in transfer of 1 carbon groups. Okay, 1 carbon groups. Understand this, 1 carbon groups. And these are the compounds that are involved in transfer of hydrogen. That is why I've made it red, oxidoreductase. And they are involved in transfer of carbon group. This is carbon group, this is carbon. These are hematopoietic enzymes. 2 are hematopoietic vitamins. They are involved in synthesis of blood. They are very, folate is given before pregnancy. Folate deficiency causes anemia. So that is why these are hematopoietic. So that is why I have made it yellow. Remember biotin and tetrahydrofolate. Biotin, it transfers carbon dioxide. Tetrahydrofolate transfers 1 carbon. Remember, memorize these two. And everything is very important, but memorize these two right now. For the time being, just memorize these two. You understood this? You understood this? Now let's talk about the nomenclature. Nomenclature. So what is the significance of nomenclature? I told you this is enzyme. Again, I'm drawing the picture. So it has got teeth. By now what is teeth? What is teeth of enzyme? Chemically, what is teeth of enzyme? Made by
coenzymes.
Yes.
The site of chain reaction and coenzymes.
Side chain of amino acid, and then what?
Coenzymes, vitamins.
Yeah, coenzymes. Coenzymes are generally vitamins and minerals. Very good. So at least you understood this. If you understood this much, that is the important thing that you must memorize. You must not forget actually. This is the important thing you must not forget. And then the rest of thing you have to work on it. So classification of enzyme. I told you the enzymes has they are specialist. So specificity. Specificity. So all enzymes have different specificity. So they perform different job. For example, some performs oxidation reduction reaction, oxidoreductase. Oxidation reduction reaction. Second, other group of enzyme will perform transfer reaction. We call it transferase. Third group of enzyme will causes hydrolysis of a compound, a big molecule. For example, protein digesting enzymes will cause hydrolysis of protein. So these are called hydrolase. Then fourth group of enzyme. We call that breaks the bond. That is why we call it liase. Fifth group of enzyme. There are 6 groups. They causes isomerization. We call it isomerase. And sixth, they join the bond. We call it then ligase. So this is actually speciality. They are specialized in some group of enzymes. They are specialized in oxidation reduction. We call them oxidoreductase. Some group of enzymes, they are specialized in transferase. You people are getting specialized in medicine. So you will be called doctor. Some of your friends might be getting specialized in engineering. we call them engineer. The same way, because they do the job of engineers. So same way, we classify enzyme based on their function, based on their job. Okay, so this is what called this. So specificity means reaction type. Specific reaction type the enzyme performs. Did you understand? Specific classification is, what is the basis of classification? Basis of classification is specificity. That means I'm talking about one of these properties here. I'm talking about these properties of enzyme, specificity. So classification means specificity. Because we are classifying enzyme based on its specialized job, based on its specificity. So we classify enzymes like this. So we classify, and after classifying, we name that enzyme according to its function only. So before going for that classification, let's look at the nomenclature. So we name enzymes based on their classification only. So we have two systems of naming. As you must have studied in your organic chemistry. We have a common name. Okay, we have a common name in organic chemistry, and then we have a IUPAC name, standard name. So common name is generally utilized name, and IUPAC name is like we use in our to like define that compound very specifically, very nicely, very precisely. We use this IUPAC name. Same enzyme also have two nomenclature. So this recommended name is very similar to common name. Recommended name is very similar to common name. And this systematic name is very similar to IUPAC name, IUPAC name. So recommended name, you add ASE, okay, after the substrate name or after the function, after the action of the enzyme, it is performed. So for example, you write urea, and you put an H. The enzyme become urease. So what does this mean? The urea is substrate. And this enzyme, this particular enzyme is acting on the urea. It acts on urea. So that is why the name came from the substrate. So this is the simple way of giving the enzyme name. And then second is some enzyme. So lactate dehydrogenase. So there is a lactate. Okay. So lactate is converting into pyruvate. So what is happening here? Here is extraction of hydrogen electron from this. NAD convert into NADH, extraction of electron. So what does this enzyme do? This enzyme is extracting hydrogen. That is why this enzyme, the function of this enzyme is called lactate dehydrogenase. Because this enzyme is performing a job of dehydrogenation from lactate. And therefore, this enzyme is called lactate dehydrogenase. So one name is either based on function, or you add the substrate and you add S. This becomes enzyme name. So we will be using this name, recommended, this common name generally. We will be throughout our biochemistry, we will be using this common name. But there is very important point. Why do we then need this systemic name? So we need this systemic name because systemic name is actually classifying the enzyme. Whenever we call this enzyme is oxidoreductase. Oxidoreductase. Whenever somebody calls you, this particular person is doctor. So they don't have to like define everything about doctor. You already understand, okay, this person does this, go hospital and do this job. Always they have 95, he must be busy person, he must be very intelligent, he must have worked hard. So everything you understand in one go. Same thing here. Systemic name, if you understand that description of what is oxidoreductase, how it works, then you will understand everything about that enzyme. So I have to, the moment I tell you the name, you will understand that enzyme. So this is a very big impact in understanding biochemistry. It will have a big impact because biochemistry, everything in biochemistry is about enzyme and enzymatic reaction. So this is very important. This enzyme, this classification becomes very important for your understanding of biochemistry. Very important. So we classify this enzyme first into 6 categories. And then according to that category we name. Just see this 6 category. Okay. So this systematic name is related to classification. Classification. We classify, then name it. We classify the person into doctor, engineer, like that, based on their profession, and then, okay, doctor this, engineer this, like plumber this. You then add the profession and then add the name. So this is how this enzyme is classified. Enzyme classification. This is how like this systemic nomenclature work. You classify enzyme, then put the doctor this, engineer this, like that. Add this name. So you can see this is the systemic nomenclature. So you classify enzyme into 6 groups. So how do you classify this enzyme? Based on its function, based on specificity. So first group is oxidoreductase. And mind this, you cannot like shuffle this list. So oxidoreductase will always get a 1 number. Now you can see you have classified people into engineer, doctor, and then what else? Plumber, let's say plumber. Then you what? There will be 100 people in 100 doctors here. Then there will be like 50 engineers. There will be 500 like plumbers. How do you know this plumber? So you put a number. Okay, for doctor number 1, for engineer number 2, for plumber is number 3. You give a number batch, and then you give a number for this in the list. Number first person will be given 1, 1. The second person will be given number 1, 2. What does it mean? Okay, this is the doctor, and this is nephrologist. This is doctor. This is what? This is cardiologist. So this is how you can classify. You can group this 100 people among this nephrologist, cardiologist, like that. The same way we put this number, we use this number. So you cannot shuffle this number. My main objective of telling all this, you cannot shuffle this number. So oxidoreductase will always carry number 1. Number 1 means oxidoreductase. So you can, how would you remember? It's very easy. O for oxidoreductase, O for 1. T for transferase, T for 2. So H for hydrolase, you can see H. So you can somehow do one trick. H has this 1 line, then there is 1 second line. Okay, 3rd line. So how do you do this? So this horizontal, you make this line also vertical. So this become 3. So hydrolase is 3. So you will remember 1, 2, 3 easily. And we have this OTH and LIL, this mnemonics, OTH, LIL. So you remembered OTH. O for oxidoreductase, you will give number 1. T for transferase, you give number 2. H for hydrolase, you give number 3. Now, so LIL, so L for liase, I for isomerase, L for ligases. L for liases, other L for ligases. So you will confuse between L, liases and ligases. Which you will confuse that which will get a higher number or lower number. Which liase, which L will get 4 or which L will get number 6. So let's see. Let me remove that confusion. So let's see this. How many letters are there in liases and how many letters are there in ligases? Yes?
6.
So liases have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And ligases have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So higher number of letter, ligase have higher number of letter. Therefore, you assign this ligase with higher number, 6. Liase have lower number of letter. That is why you assign this with letter 4. And isomerase will be 5. So it will be very easy to memorize the number with the classification. 1 oxidoreductase, 2 transferase, 3 hydrolase, 4 liases, 5 isomerase, and 6 ligases. Will you able to remember this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. You this website and you can find the list of this all enzyme classification. Just for fun, you can visit this website. You can see all whatever enzyme present in our, like in till date, all known enzyme has been classified through this classification. You can go and watch that so that you will understand more. You don't have to memorize, but you have to memorize this only. But you will have more concepts. So you can see each enzyme has been given this 4 number. I told you to go. I told you 100 doctors are there. The doctors has been given number 1, and in that doctor, the number 1, the number 1 represents class of doctor. So class is doctor is one class, and then the doctor has been classified again by second number. That is called subclass. So you can see in the same way enzyme is class. The one enzyme that do a particular job, oxidation reduction, that is given number 1, and then this has been given number subclass. A group of within that group there is subgroup of enzyme that do a very similar type of function has been given this 1. Again, third number is subclass. Among that also there many are like nephrologists are there. Let's say nephrologists are there. 1 means nephrologist, and many among that nephrologists, some will be nephrosurgeon. So you give a subclass, like for nephrosurgeon is 1, and then you add like nephrologist. Nephrologist means who does not do surgery, but he's a nephrologist. You give number 2 like that, 1 and 1, 2. That means this person is doctor, this is nephrologist, and he does not do surgery. So that is how you understand. And then 4th number for a specific number means personal number you give. So this is how enzyme has been given their own number. So this, each number has a significance. If you go on this website and if you see, you will understand that each number this 4 number will have individual significance. So if you write this 4 number, so it will specify a particular only one enzyme, It will specify particular enzyme with particular function. It is actually explanation of the function. It is complete explanation of function. So you have to view that chart from this website. If you view that chart, you will understand what this number means. Okay, so decoding has been done here. This is a code for enzyme. So this one, therefore, number code is given to enzyme. This is called enzyme commission number. This code is called EC, enzyme commission number. Okay, so this enzyme commission number is given based on the classification, and classification is related to systematic name. Systematic name, enzyme commission number, and this classification, they are related. Okay, we classify first enzyme, then you name them. So these are this is actually summary of all the thing, 6 classes. I'll be describing these 6 classes individually. You see, I'll be describing these 6 classes individually, important point of this. But before going to that classification, I have given you summary in the beginning only. The most important 3 points of the summary that actually I am going to ask in your exam, that the most important thing you must not forget. These are the important thing you must not forget. So all oxidoreductase, they require coenzyme. This is very important. All oxidoreductase require this coenzyme. One of this coenzyme. All oxidoreductase. Okay. Most of the transferase will require coenzyme. Not all, but most of the transferase. And there is you have 2L. And actually the function of this 2L may sometimes confuse you. Okay. So very important difference between these 2 is ligase will always utilize ATP and lyase will never utilize ATP. Very important difference between liase and ligase function. Ligase, last 6, this will always utilize ATP. This will never utilize ATP. Okay, so this is the main difference between liase and hydrolase. Always require H2O for bond breaking. As the name suggests, hydrolase. So if there is no H2O for bond breaking, you must not call it hydrolase. Isomerase, intramolecular changes in the molecule. So there will not be utilization of any ATP, any external energy. Just glucose will be converted into fructose. This is isomerization. So these are the very important point. Actually, conceptually important point. There are many important points in the classification we will talk about. Okay, so this is the last concept I will talk you, then I will leave you here. Oxidoreductase. So oxidoreductase is the first group. And this is also oxidoreductase. Example I've given you is also oxidoreductase. Alcohol dehydrogenase. You can see very simple, easy enzyme commission number to remember. That is why I've given you. This has got 1111 enzyme commission number. You can memorize easily. That is why I have written alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme commission number 1111. And you can see this is systematic name, nomenclature. Okay, this is nomenclature of enzyme. This is enzyme commission number. They both are actually synonymous to, almost synonymous to each other. Okay, this is actually alphabetical representation, semantic representation. This is number representation. That is the difference. I will tell you how. I will tell you how. So you can see this. This is donor, acceptor. How do you name? Donor and acceptor, and then oxidoreductase. So you know oxidoreductase is given number 1. Okay. Donor, first donor you write. This subclass represents donor. This third will represent acceptor. So this is represents donor, this represents acceptor, and fourth represents the particular specific number that is given to particular enzyme in that group. You can say this. So this represents first oxidoreductase. This represents donor. Donor here is alcohol. OH is donor here. Okay, when OH is donor, then it will be 1, and this is acceptor. Acceptor here, NAD is acceptor. That is, NAD is always carry number 1, and this is oxidoreductase. So if you know the thing, what does this mean, then you will actually understand from this number only what does this enzyme do. And good news is that you don't have to memorize this. Okay, you just, if you know this is oxidoreductase, that will be sufficient. So what is the systematic name? Donor acceptor oxidoreductase. You name donor acceptor oxidoreductase. As you can see, systematic name here. Alcohol NAD oxidoreductase. Otherwise, this common name is alcohol dehydrogenase. Common name is alcohol dehydrogenase. Systematic name is alcohol NAD plus oxidoreductase. This is donor of electron or hydrogen to this. That is what it is signifying. And this is also signifying the same thing. Now, there are 4 categories. You can see there are 4. The oxidoreductase enzyme come with the 4 types of suffix. They can come with dehydrogenase. When we talk in biochemistry, some enzyme name come with dehydrogenase, as we have seen alcohol dehydrogenase. Here also one next example, pyruvate dehydrogenase will come. Then oxidase, it can come with at the end. It can come with oxidase, cytochrome oxidase. We will study cytochrome oxidase in next system. Then it can come with last name as hydrolase. Cytochrome 450 system are all hydrolases. So sometimes you will see hydrolases, sometimes you will not see hydrolases. They will come 21 hydroxylase enzyme. You can take one example, hydroxylase. This is one of the example, 21 hydroxylase. So some enzyme can have dehydrogenase at the end. Some enzyme has oxidase at the end. Some enzyme name will have hydroxylase at the end, and some enzyme will have reductase at the end. And function is little bit different. Dehydrogenase means removing hydrogen, and oxidase means utilizing oxygen to oxidize. This is called oxidase. Hydroxylation is putting OH group in the molecule. Reductase means reducing, putting hydrogen into the molecule. So the difference, there is little bit difference among this. The functionally, they are different. The name refers to function. Dehydrogenase means removing, extracting electron. Oxidase means oxidizing with oxygen. Hydroxylase means putting OH group, hydroxyl group, and reductase means putting H group. So you can understand this. So you can come this oxidoreductase group of enzymes with many names. You will see most commonly used name. This dehydrogenase will be most common. Okay, these are the examples. We will talk about the transferase in the next class. Okay, so you can see reductase, you can see dehydrogenase, you can see dehydrogenase, you can see oxidase, you can see hydroxylase. Okay, so did you understand?
Very much. That really clarified a lot there, Dr.
Yes.
Sam.
Yes, thank you. So actually, this is very important, very basic. If you understand this, you will understand biochemistry very easily. And biochemistry will be, believe me, biochemistry will be very easy subject if you understand this. So thank you.
Thank you very much. This was very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. You're welcome. Okay, take care.